In this lesson, I want to show you how to use nested XLOOKUPs instead of using a VLOOKUP and a match when we have multiple columns that have different criteria that we're using to look up values from a table. Okay, so let's do this with the example where we started, where we were looking for, for a company, we wanted to search the stock price, the symbol, and the dollar volume. And so if we don't use nested XLOOKUPs, what we have to do is to basically provide the return column, right? For stock price, it's going to be column H, and then rewrite the function, and then to get the symbol, the return column is going to be G here, and then for the volume traded, we would have to give it I, okay? But this is pretty inefficient because we really have to come in and change the formulas each time. So what we're going to do instead is use nested XLOOKUPs. And so the way that this is going to work is that the inner loop is going to return the column of data that's under what's the headers of these columns. So it's going to effectively function as the match, right? It's going to say, this is where I want you to, this is what I want you to, this is the column that I want you to be looking for the return information. Okay, so again, our formula, our nested XLOOKUPs are going to go here, and the inner lookup is going to say, look for whatever value is in this header, okay, and you're going to look for it in this top row of the table, and then what you're going to return is not just one value, but you're going to return the entire column of data there. Okay, so this is what the XLOOKUP does, right? It can return an entire column of data. And then on the outer loop, having this being our return range, the outer loop is going to say, listen, look for each company's name in this column and then return the resulting, the matching value here. And so, whereas if we were doing this now, but instead we were looking at the column with symbol, it would say the inner lookup would go and look for symbol in the stop column, the stop row over here, and then return all of these values. And then the outer XLOOKUP would say, look for the company name, okay, in this column, and then return the matching value in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and see how to do this in Google Sheets. So here we are, and so just to make sure it's clear, right, my inner XLOOKUP is going to look like this. XLOOKUP, and we're going to be looking for this value, and I'm going to lock that, and I just want to lock the row, and I'm going to look it up in this set of values over here, and I'm going to lock that. And when I find it, I'm going to return the data that's beneath it, right? So all of this data over here. So notice that this inner XLOOKUP has given me the entire column of stock prices here, okay? And so if I drag it over now, it's going to say it's looking for symbol, and it's going to return to me the entire column of symbols, okay? And in a similar way, if I drag it once more, it's going to return to me the entire column of volume traded. And so that's going to serve as my output range. And then on the outer XLOOKUP, I'm going to look for the company and say, find the company here, and then return the matching value in whatever of this, output return range is going to be. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to say the outer lookup is going to be XLOOKUP. Here's the company name, and we're going to lock the A here because we always want to be pointing to there. And we're going to say the lookup, the company, the lookup column or the lookup range starts on F3 all the way to F32, and we're going to lock that. So that's going to be the beginning of our outer XLOOKUP. But in order to know what the output range is going to be, we need the inner XLOOKUP, which is going to look for whatever is the header of this column. And here we need to lock just the row 13, and we're going to look for these values for the stock price and symbol and volume traded in cells G2 to I2, and we need to lock that. But then we need to say, once you find stock price, we need you to return this entire column of data that starts in G3 and goes all the way to I32. Okay, so that is going to give us our entire data set. And now, once we close that, okay, we're going to get the result that we expected. And if we autofill this, we're going to get an NA because it didn't find the value for Johnson & Johnson, and we're going to get it also here, everything is going to work except for the NA. So we can actually come here and enter a value here that's going to say just put a blank if you see it. And so let's autofill this across, and then we can autofill it down. And then there we have it.